Okay, I think we have everybody here, correct?
Hello.
Izetta, I believe, was not able to make it at this point.
Like I just made you the host.
I saw that.
Okay, well, this should be a fairly quick audit committee meeting. As you know, the single audit is probably the most basic, quick one to go over. I will try to share right now the document. Linda and Jason, did you both receive this already and get a chance to look through it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Okay, so as you know from your times on the audit committee before, we just kind of have boilerplate stuff for the first couple pages. I will point out this paragraph here. It says, in our opinion, North Rose-Wolcott Central School District, New York complied in all material respects with types of compliance requirements referred to above that could have a direct material effect. Okay. This again is just a template of, you know, what the different definitions are for deficiencies. And then we get to basically the main page with the financials, which this does show all of our federal funds. And I always refer to this as grants, but it does also include some money for our cafeteria fund, as a lot of those come from the USDA.
Bob,
Yes.
I just have a quick question because
Sure.
when I was looking through and they were in some of the, actually it's further down. When they were talking about things that were going through other districts, I'm assuming those are community school grants that are going to several districts that have applied together?
Yeah, in essence, that's what most of them are. So right here is a great example of some of this. This says pass through Lyons Central School District. So this is a situation where one of our 21st century grants, Lyons is the LEA, the lead educational agency for a group of schools. So basically all the money goes directly to Lyons and then they disseminate it to the various schools. We have a small ESL grant through that works with Williamson the same way. We have some Title IV through SOTUS. And there are other situations where we are the LEA. So our other 21st century grant, North Rose-Wolcott's the LEA. And so we're the one that then has to disperse money to the other school districts. Great question. And that's why they do have it listed as the flow through or the pass through.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Sure. Okay, down here, a lot of our mental health. Again, these are not grants where we are the lead educational agency. So basically what we do is we do keep our own books and WinCap on them. We account for things, and then we submit our documents to the school district, that's the LEA, and they cut us the check. All right, so as you can see, our total in grants for the year ending June 30th, 2020 was just about $2.2 million between this total here and these that came from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So, you know, that's a sizable piece of money that allows us to add extra programs where we wouldn't necessarily be able to, because I think you both know that we couldn't just take a $2.2 million addition to our budget. So we want to keep looking to expand these opportunities where we can. And this shows during last year, the accounting for a little over $800,000 worth of money associated with the cafeteria fund. And that, of course, is our main source of revenue now. When we switch to CEP, our reimbursements would be our main source. And then, as you know, back in March with the COVID-19 closure, we switched from our normal CEP to actually a special summer feeding program, which is still running through this year. That allows us to do the home delivery, etc. So those are the, yeah.
Another question. In some of the meetings yesterday with our representatives and senators, they talked about how, well, maybe the transportation involved is not being funded. Is that still?
It's up in the air.
Okay. All right.
They haven't told us no. And they haven't said if they do determine that it's not aided, what part won't be aided. Yes, it's still up. So I'm glad to hear that they are in tune with that, and hopefully lobbying on our account for that with their colleagues.
They are.
Yeah, because that could be a huge hit,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a district like us where we have, we've been out there doing the food distribution. Some districts, okay, their vehicles just sat. They had their payroll expenses, which of course are the most expensive part, but they didn't have additional mileage and things like that. After the financials, again, there's a lot of boilerplate here about what goes into an audit, etc. And the important part on this page, actually the next page, gets right here. Internal control over major programs. There's no material weakness identified, and there's no significant deficiency. So because the auditors did not identify any weaknesses or deficiencies, there's no need for any corrective action plan to go with this. It's just a matter of, if the committee is comfortable, asking the board to accept and approve this audit, and then I will do the final submission through the portal that I need to do. Any questions?
I kind of have a follow-up question for the grants. We all know that grants have a beginning and ending time. And so
Yes.
all that we currently have, of course, we know when they're going to end, and you said we're looking into further sources.
Absolutely. We always try to renew. Some of, most of our grants, I don't want to say most, our Title I, our Title IV, our Title IIA, our IDEA 611 and 619 special ed grants, those are all annual, year to year. And they're as much a given as you can have a given. They're not a competitive type of grant that we have to apply for like the 21st century. But yes, and that's one of Bridget's major roles, is she's constantly out there looking and trying to get us ahead of the curve. Where can we supplement down the road too?
Mm-hmm. It looks like that has gone well so far.
It's gone very well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Jason, any questions?
No, everything looked good to me, Bob. As long as they say no action is needed on our part, I'm happy.
Me too.
I'm certain.
Okay, so would the committee be comfortable recommending that the Board of Education accept this or approve this single audit at next week's meeting?
I am.
Yep, I think we both are. Actually, this is kind of a repeat of former years,
Right.
The only thing that was cited last year had to do with something the district has no control over, the activities accounts and so on. And again, this year, there are a few things that needed to be addressed. Those were more related to COVID, I think, than they were last year.
Yeah, and as long as I've got the committee here, I will just mention, you'll see on my dashboard that I we'll have distributed to the board later, that I submitted our corrective action form from the, I'm sorry, our corrective action plan to the state after the board approved it, and they did give feedback that they would like us to resubmit it with completion dates on it. So I've added dates. It's literally, everything is exactly the same, except for I just identified specific dates. I'm attaching a copy to my dashboard. It will also be in the board packet, and we'll just ask the board to approve the revised version next week, and then I'll send that back in.
Okay. So we don't really have any further business to do at this point, it sounds like.
That's correct. Okay.
So Jason and I are going, Jason, do you agree we can move to adjourn?
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Make the recommendation to the board?
Yes, I mean, as far as the audit is concerned, everything looks on the up and up, and no action on our part. So I think we've done our job.
That's always good news for us.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and stay warm.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you guys. Have a nice weekend.
All right.
Bye-bye, you too.
Thank you.
Enjoy the sunshine today.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.